de derrotas y victorias.
Del socialismo bolivariano de
Caracas is openly accusing Washington of crossing every diplomatic line with its latest maneuvers, calling them a deliberate attempt to manufacture a crisis. Venezuelan officials say the US is inflating imaginary security threats to justify deeper interference. They argue this is not policy, it is pressure dressed up as protection.
Mr. President, on Venezuela, can you tell us more about why the airspace above Venezuela should be considered closed?
Because we consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country. They send millions of people, really, and probably a number in excess of that. And a lot of those people shouldn't be in our country, from jails, from gangs, from drug dealers, from all of the people that came into our country shouldn't have been in our country, causing a lot of problems. And drugs.
As detailed by Fox News, American agencies have intensified political, economic, and intelligence pressure while publicly framing their actions as humanitarian outreach. Experts inside Venezuela say this narrative is intentionally misleading and designed to mask destabilization operations. The message from Caracas is blunt. The US is not helping. It is provoking.
No one in the 21st century can content himself and act as judge and party, and at the same time carry out the death penalty on a person without due process having been observed, without the sacred right that every human being has to a defense having been respected, and without the facts that may or may not certify a crime having been clarified. It is simply that human beings, living persons, persons who have mothers, have wives, have children, were executed extrajudicially.
This behavior is far from new. Washington has a decades-long pattern of engineering instability across Latin America when governments refuse to follow US directives. Venezuelan analysts say the same playbook is being deployed again. Sanctions, diplomatic theatrics, and covert coordination are all part of a familiar script.
Does your warning mean that an airstrike is imminent, or should we not read it that way?
Don't read anything into it.
The New York Times reported that you had a phone call with Maduro. Did you?
I don't want to comment on it. The answer is yes.
Even regional partners are quietly warning that the US is pushing its influence far beyond accepted norms, effectively trying to dictate Venezuela's internal decision-making. Diplomats say this behavior treats sovereign nations as expendable extensions of American policy. Several capitals now see Washington's stance as both reckless and inflammatory.
Secretary General, OPEC countries, non-OPEC countries. Venezuela formally denounces before this body that the government of the United States of America intends to seize Venezuela's vast oil reserves, the largest on the planet, through the use of lethal military force against the country's territory, its people, and its institutions. This intention not only contradicts the provisions governing peaceful coexistence among nations, but also seriously endangers the stability of Venezuelan oil production and the global market.
Caracas insists it will not allow the US to turn Venezuela into another geopolitical experiment. Officials say the country's sovereignty is non-negotiable, and any effort to strong-arm or isolate Venezuela will be met with resistance, not submission. The government warns Washington that its confrontational approach risks triggering the opposite of what it claims to seek: instability of its own making.